Hi guys! Welcome sa Asip9. In this video ay itutuloy natin yung series natin on calculus. Sa video na ito, pag-uusapan natin yung properties of limits na nakikita nyo sa screen ninyo. So don't panic kung medyo intimidating yung symbols, no? Madali yan pag nakita nyo na yung example. So just bear with me. So una, yung sinasabi dito is pag kinuha mo yung limit ng sum ng dalawang functions, ay pwede mong paghiwalayin. No? Pwede mong kunin yung limit ng isang function, and then kunin mo rin yung limit ng isang function, and then you add them. No? Ganon din sa number 2. Pag kinuha mo yung limit ng product ng dalawang functions, pwede mong kunin yung limit ng dalawang yon na magkahiwalay, and then you multiply the product. Ganon din sa quotient. And yung sa power, pag kinuha mo yung limit ng power, ay pwede mong kunin yung limit ng function and then erase mo to that power. This probably do not make sense no as of now, pero pag magkaroon tayo ng example, mas madali siya. No? So let's proceed to our examples. So tingnan natin itong example na to. The limit as x approaches 3 of x squared plus 4x minus 3. Anong property ang pwede nating gamitin kaagad dito? Now yung property 1, we can think of these expressions as three functions. No? For example, ito isang function yan. This is another function. This is another function. Sabi sa property 1, pwede natin yan paghiwa-hiwalayin at kunin natin yung limit ng bawat isa. Meaning, this is equal to the limit of x squared as x approaches 3 plus the limit of 4x as x approaches 3 minus the limit of 3 as x approaches 3. So from here to here, this is by property 1. Pwede natin paghiwa-hiwalayin. Pwede nating isipin yung mga expressions as separate functions. No? Next, anong pwede natin gawin dito sa first expression? Yung may power, the limit of x squared as x approaches 3. So the limit of x squared as x approaches 3. Ano sabi dito? Ang x squared, yun yung f of x natin, di ba? So yan yung naka-raise sa power. Ano sabi niya? Pwede mong kunin yung limit niya, and then pag nakuha mo yung limit ng function mo, tsaka mo i-raise sa power. Meaning, pwede natin isulat as limit of x as x approaches 3. Ito yung part na yan. And then we raise the limit to the power, which is 2. Okay? So, pwede natin isulat pala na ganyan yan. So, this is the limit of x as x approaches 3 raised to the second power. So, this specific expression is by property number 4. Limit of 4x as x approaches 3. Balik ulit tayo. The limit of 4x as x approaches 3. Aling property ang pwede natin gamitin dyan? Pwede natin gamitin yung property 2. No? Yung limit ng product, pwede natin paghiwalayin. So, pwede natin isulat yan as limit of 4 as x approaches 3 times the limit of x as x approaches 3. So, dito, sineperate natin. Parang kinonsider natin na isang function itong 4. That's a constant function. And this is another function. Yan yung identity function natin, di ba? Napag-aralan natin sa previous video. So this one can be written as the limit of 4 as x approaches 3 times the limit of x as x approaches 3. So ito naman ay by property 2. Yung property 2 yung product, no? And then we copy, no, the limit of 3 as x approaches 3. Ngayon, gamitin na natin yung lahat ng alam natin sa pag-compute ng limit, no? Ano ba yung limit ng x as x approaches 3? Naalala niyo yung function natin sa previous video, di ba? Yung f of x equals x. Ito yun, di ba? Identity function siya. Sabi natin sa previous video, sa identity function, ang limit niya ay kung ano man yung number na ina-approach niya dito. So the limit of x as x approaches 3 is just 3, and then we squared, and then plus What about the limit of 4 as x approaches 3? Napag-aralan na rin natin yan, limit of a constant function. Sa constant function, napag-aralan natin na kahit anong value man yung ina-approach ng x, the limit is always the value of the function. So ito 4 yung function natin, kaya 4 yung limit niya. Again, this is another identity function, so this is 3. And we subtract the limit of 3 as x approaches 3. This is another constant function, so 3 pa rin siya. So this is equal to 9 plus 12 minus 3. This is 18. Okay? Ano napapansin nyo? Parang pwede lang natin i-substitute yung 3, no, doon sa expression natin. So since 3 ito, pwede pala natin i-substitute dito yan. 18 din. So ano ibig sabihin nito? So yan actually yung one of the properties of the limit of a polynomial function. Ibig sabihin, if p is a polynomial function, then the limit of p of x as x approaches a is equal to p of a. Di ba ibig sabihin ng p of a, kung ano man yung value ng a, isa-substitute lang natin doon sa function. No? So dito ang a natin ay 3, meaning yung 3 isa-substitute natin doon sa x. And this is always true if p is a polynomial function. Okay? Question, bakit kailangan nating daanan itong mga ito? Now, gusto kong ipakita sa inyo na kung bakit natin sinasubstitute yung value pag polynomial function pag kinukuha natin yung limit. So, sinasubstitute ta pero meron siyang pinanggalingan. Actually, ang pinanggalingan niya ay mga properties of limits. Okay? So, ngayon na alam na natin to, hindi na natin kailangang daanan itong mga steps na to, no? For example, the limit of negative 4x cubed plus x squared minus x plus 6 as x approaches 0. This is a polynomial function, di ba? So, ibig sabihin nito, sa-substitute lang natin. Yung 0 dito sa x, so magiging negative 4 times 0 cubed plus 0 squared minus 0 plus 6. So, this is equal to 6. Kasi 0 naman lahat yung mga yan. What about ito, sa example na to? Hindi naman to polynomial function, di ba? This is a rational function. So, pwede pa rin ba yung substitution? Balikan natin yung properties. Tignan mo yung property 3. Pag meron kang quotient, no? Limit of a quotient, pwede mo paghiwalayin. Get the limit of the numerator, get the limit of the denominator, as long as it's not 0. And then you divide, no? Ibig sabihin, we can rewrite this as the limit of x minus 4 as x approaches 5 over the limit of x plus 1 as x approaches 5. Anong napapansin nyo? Polynomial na to, di ba? So, ibig sabihin, pwede na natin i-substitute. So, 5 yung x natin, 5 minus 4. Tapos 5 plus 1 ito, which means that this is 1/6. So the limit of x minus 4 divided by x plus 1 as x approaches 5 is equal to 1/6. So from here to here is by property 3, yung quotient. And from here to here is yung property na the limit of p of x as x approaches a is equal to p of a. Kung napapansin nyo, ang math ay hindi siya puro procedures lang. Dapat naintindihan nyo kung ano yung nangyayari sa background, no? Kasi yun actually yung beauty ng mathematics. Kung kayo nagsasubstitute lang, you're not actually doing limits, no? You're just doing arithmetic. Kasi multiplication lang naman to eh. Multiplication, addition, subtraction, and addition. So pag tinuro lang sa inyo na, i-substitute nyo lang yan, tapos compute nyo, you're just doing arithmetic actually. You're not doing limits. So, dapat alam nyo yung konsepto mismo. Kasi later, pag hindi nyo alam, nagme-memorize lang kayo. Mahirap na pag malalim na part ng calculus. No? So, sana ay pag-aralan nyo mabuti yung konsepto, hindi lang yung proseso o yung procedures. No? Alright, so sana ay nag-enjoy kayo dito sa ating tutorial. Sa susunod na mga videos ay magpa-practice tayo mag-compute ng mga limits and we will learn more properties. No? So, abangan nyo yung mga susunod na videos at huwag nyo kalimutan mag-subscribe sa ating channel. That's it. Maraming salamat. I'll see you in the next video.